Hello, my name is Bill Topping and I'm a member of Putney Methodist Church, and I also work and live at the University of Roehampton as a member of the chaplaincy team here. It's a pleasure to be with you. I hope you're all finding ways to cope and thrive if possible during these strange times. Can I also add a massive thanks to our friends and teachers who have been enlightening us during this lockdown with the regular Bible studies, and it's exciting to have an opportunity to be one of those contributors. And I hope that what we talk about today will be beneficial to you in some way. Before we start, let's take a short moment of prayer. Loving God, we thank you for continuing to bring us together during these strange times. In moments like these, it could be so easy to be cut adrift. Keep in our hearts and minds those who struggle with that reality every day. Those who continue in ill health because of the virus or other ailments. Those who continue to serve so selflessly in the medical and caring sectors. May the Holy Spirit, the theme of our discussion this week, continue to flow among us, connecting us, advising us, filling us with the truth, bringing us peace. We lift this Bible study and this day up to you, God of peace. Amen. So this week we're looking at the work of the Holy Spirit, and the reading we're focusing on today comes from John chapter 14 verses 15 to 17 and then 23 to 31. So let's read it together. If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you forever. This is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him, because he abides with you, and he will be in you. Jesus answered, Those who love me will keep my word, and my Father will love them, and we will come to them and make our home with them. Whoever does not love me does not keep my words, and the word that you hear is not mine, but it is from the Father who sent me. I have said these things to you while I am still with you, but the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything, and remind you of all that I have said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. You heard me say to you, I am going away, and I am coming to you. If you loved me, you would rejoice as I am going to the Father, because the Father is greater than I. And now I have told you this before it occurs, so that when it does occur, you may believe. I will no longer talk much with you, for the ruler of this world is coming. He has no power over me, but I do as the Father has commanded me, so that the world may know that I love the Father. Rise, let us be on our way. So before drilling down into this text, let's reflect for a moment on the context in which it occurs. The passage we read is part of what some scholars refer to as the farewell discourse. Jesus and his disciples sit around a table in an upper room and talk, as Jesus reveals he is to go. It is a time of high emotion. Here, Jesus models his servant ministry by washing the feet of his disciples. In the Gospel of John in chapter 13, it specifically includes the identification of Judas as one who will betray him. He speaks of his death and resurrection and predicts Peter's denials. This all suggests that the upper room is a place where hope is dim. And yet Jesus offers reasons to be optimistic, to be hopeful, which we're going to look at today. During this discourse, Jesus shares with his disciples the news that they will soon receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. In our limited time today, I want to focus on 4 brief things that come out of this reading for me. Each one can be summed up in a word: advocate, truth, teaching, and peace. Let's work through them one by one. The first is to acknowledge the word Jesus uses to refer to the Holy Spirit. He says in verse 16, "I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate." The Greek word that is translated here as advocate is parakletos, which refers to one who comes to another person's aid as a patron or intercessor. Translators have also interpreted an advocate in the legal sense. So the word is used to refer to the Holy Spirit as being on our side, rooting for us, wanting the best for us. For many Christians, the image of God they're used to is of a stern judge who weighs, measures, and finds us wanting. The image of an advocate goes against that, and in its place conjures a picture of God with us, comforting us, advocating for us, liberating us. Note too that Jesus refers to another advocate, implying that whoever comes to be with them forever will be motivated by the love of God's people, just as he was. The German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer speaks of the Spirit as the pledge of the abiding presence of Jesus and of our fellowship with him. This relationship with the advocate, then, the Spirit that is to come, while certainly different, will not be an unfamiliar one. Just as Jesus did, the Holy Spirit, through us and out there in the world, wants the best for us. At a time of heightened anxiety for the disciples, the promise of the Spirit would have hopefully offered some comfort to them, even if the magnitude of what it meant had not fully sunk in. Secondly, Jesus refers to the Spirit as the Spirit of truth. We currently live in a time, even during the pandemic, of secrecy, misinformation, and anxiety, a situation where untruths abound and we are constantly second-guessing ourselves or opting for the version of things we want to believe in. I think that among many things, the Spirit of truth is what keeps us questioning. It's what gives us that gut feeling that something's not right, that we must be critical or refuse the low-hanging fruit. The Spirit of truth is at work amongst the investigative journalists and the whistleblowers who unearth and expose injustice. It is at work amongst the medical professionals who risk their lives to care for those impacted by the coronavirus, and the medical scientists who seek to discover the truth about the virus. Another theologian, Choi Hee-an, believes it is the Spirit of truth that empowers us to participate in Jesus' just and loving reign, even as we wait his return. She says, because of the Spirit of truth, people are strengthened in their ability to hold on to hope, to love and live, not only for themselves, but also for others. That is the truth which perseveres in an age of untruths. The Spirit of truth is at work across the world during this pandemic through millions of people. How do you feel the Spirit moving through you? Our third point comes in verse 26, when Jesus says, "But the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you everything and remind you of all I have said to you." The Spirit will teach you everything. This links to the points we've just been exploring about the Spirit of truth. The Spirit teaches us everything. When we face a situation that makes us feel uncomfortable and we seek a way forward, it is what we have learned and continue to learn from the Spirit that should influence our actions. I believe strongly that the feeling in your gut when faced with a difficult decision or situation, those butterflies which nudge you towards an action that will not necessarily be the easiest for you, but is regardless the right thing to do, I believe that to be the Spirit moving in us through its teaching to the loving action. My grandpa has a saying which I know is not unique to him. I'm sure plenty of us have heard it in different contexts, but I know it through my grandpa. And the saying is, "If in doubt, do the most loving thing." A phrase I think that could easily be translated, "If in doubt, use the teaching you have received from the Spirit." Sometimes this means you have to have that difficult conversation with someone, because although likely to cause hurt in the short term, In the long term, it is the loving thing to do. This may be that you have to decide to spend that evening on Zoom with someone you find draining rather than catch up with your friends, because in that moment, that person needs you more. It may be that despite your natural instincts, you decide you need to volunteer and you want to volunteer in the community to play some role that does some good during this time of heightened need. We all face these decisions on a regular basis, and it is the teaching which we already know from Jesus, but which is reinforced by the Holy Spirit, that we must use to inform our decision making. If we do all that, it means the regularity of those really testing times falling on the same few people is lessened, for thanks to the Spirit, we are able to share the burden. If you're interested in this concept, I recommend reading up about Ignatius of Loyola's spiritual discernment exercises. You may find them interesting. For the final point, we turn to verse 27, in which Jesus says, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give to you." Through the Spirit who advocates for us and comforts us, we can find peace. Through the Spirit who shows us the truth, we can find peace. Through the Spirit who teaches us everything, we can find peace. And we don't even need to look for it to find it, for Jesus gives it to us freely, as he says. It is now with us to freely give to the world, a world so in need of peace. This week, perhaps you may like to try and feel the Spirit at work within you and see it at work in the world. May that help you retain some hope in these strange times, motivate you to be the truth, comfort you with the peace that God is with us. Thank you for engaging with this Bible study today. Thank you for the role you play in this connected community. Keep watching and reflecting with all the material put out by the wonderful team here at the circuit. Till we see each other again, go well.